Om. The 110th verse of Vivekachudamani. Shuddhadvaya Brahma Vibodha Nashaya Sarpa Brahmo Rajju Vivekato Yatha Rajastamaha Satvamiti Prasiddha Gunastadiya Pratitai Swakaryehi. In the earlier verse, Shankaracharya said, what is Maya? What is the nature of ignorance? Here he says that Shuddha, pure Advaya Brahma, non-dual Brahman, or Brahman without a second, means Brahman is the ultimate reality, so there is no other second principle. This Vibodha, by the proper realization, complete realization of this pure Brahman, Sarpa Brahmaha Nashaya, this delusion of Sarpa or snake, meaning the delusion of this universe, is destroyed. Rajju Vivekato Yatha. And also, one gets the knowledge of the universe as the ultimate reality by constantly doing Viveka or discernment of the universe being Brahman, the universe being God or the ultimate reality. Just like when you constantly reason, constantly discern that this is not snake but rope, you get the idea of rope, and the delusion or the wrong idea or the mistaken idea of snake goes away. So Rajju Vivekatah. This is a process. How to do? By constantly discerning. So whenever you go through an experience or a thing, you have to say, you have to constantly think or logically analyze whether that particular thing is true or not, whether that particular thing takes you to your ultimate goal or ultimate reality or not, or very simply, whether that particular thing is real or not. So most of the things which we come across in our life are not real, in the sense they are not going to stay forever. They are not permanent. So this questioning we have to always do. Whether this is nitya or anitya, whether this is permanent or this is impermanent, whether it is going to stay or it will not stay. If we do this particular kind of reasoning or thinking or contemplation or vichara, in Sanskrit it is called vichara. If we do this constantly, whenever we do some activity, if we think whether this will be permanent, whether this will remain forever, whether this will be uh, intransient or not, whether this is going to perish after some time. If we constantly think like that, then finally we will arrive at a point when we come to a realization that this is the only thing which is not going to destroy, which is not going to go away or perish. So, Rajas Sattvam Prasiddha, and Rajas Tamas Sattvam Prasiddha. And this Maya, how does this Maya work? How does this Maya operate? It operates, or Maya is told to be a she. The gender given to Maya is feminine gender. Okay. I'm just in passing, this is not related to Vivek Chudamani, but because this question has now come up, I'll just tell one thing which is so bad and so sad. That is, Maya is considered to be whatever it may be. Maya by word, etymologically, it is in feminine gender. So, she. And God, mostly people say he. So, and also Purush Prakriti. I think it is serious high time we question this gender dynamics even in spirituality. Why should God be he and why should Maya be she? Best is both should be in a neuter gender, it or something, so that gender free. Or if it has to be like that, why can't God be she and Maya be he? Because this leads to further deep rooted stigma. Of course, no scripture says, but people do that. They say, oh, Maya. That means woman is Maya. Hmm. Eh, that means woman is the only person who is distracting you from this world. Like that. People, to suit their own vested interests or their own interests, they do. And God, since God is always He, so the ruler of the universe is He. But of course, this is so skewed and so not done. So it has to be thought about again. Oh, okay, God should be she and Maya, why should Maya be she? But anyway, here the word Maya, the word itself is a feminine word. So how does Maya operate? How does ignorance operate? Through three qualities of rajah, tamah and sattva. Three qualities: rajoguna, tamoguna and sattva. It is by the combination of these three qualities that ignorance or maya operates. Now, people we see, or we see any particular living being, each living being has a combination of these three qualities. A person in whom sattva is predominant, that person is called sattoguni. A person in whom rajoguna is predominant is called rajoguni. A person in whom tamoguna is predominant is called tamoguni. But all these gunas are present in all people. That is the idea. So this, how does Maya operate? Through these gunas. So here Shankaracharya says that if you get the discernment, if you constantly do vichara or viveka of what is real and what is unreal, then you will automatically get the knowledge of Brahman. And by getting the knowledge of Brahman, automatically ignorance will go away. So Sri Ramakrishna says, if you want to go away from south, just keep walking towards the north, and automatically south will go farther and farther. Similarly, we don't need to so much bother about removing the ignorance. If we constantly try to bring or constantly try to remind ourselves of knowledge, then ignorance will automatically go away. विक्षेप शक्ति ही रजसः क्रियात्मिका यतः प्रवृत्ति प्रसृता पुराणी रागादयो अस्याः प्रभवन्ति नित्यं दुःखादयो ये मनसो विकाराः. There are two types of delusions. One is vikshepa and the other one is avarana. One is vikshepa, another one is avarana. Vikshepa means in the place of one thing you see something other. So in the place of rope you see snake. In the place of this Brahman or God you see this universe. That is called vikshepa. Putting something over other, superimposition. Projecting something over other. So there is a screen and on that screen movie is projected. So this is vikshepa. You are putting something on something else. That is, so kshepana means to throw something. So throwing something on something else. That is called vikshepa. So this rajasa means rajogun or guna or the quality of rajas. It has got this quality of throwing this some other image on a particular thing. If you see just like the tar road and the delusion of water on that. There is no water, but on tar road from a distance in a sunny afternoon, you feel, or you, to you it appears there is water. Similarly, they say that this uh, in something is shining, say, it happens so much in mountains. If you are going through the road, even below somewhere, some small thing will be shining, and it will be so much shining that you will feel that it is silver or it is some metal. But if you go near, it will not be metal or silver, it may be even a drop of water on some leaf. So there are so many things which happen. For example, if you take a disc and in that you put all the seven colors of rainbow and rotate the disc, you will see only one color, white. This white is not there in the disc. White color is not there. But this color has been imposed or put on that disc. So this is called Vikshepa Shakti, where it gives some new qualities or seemingly gives some new appearance to a particular thing which it does not have. For example, you have this note, no, currency note, Indian currency note. Mostly it is Mahatma Gandhi there. So you see, Mahatma Gandhi suddenly gets a different meaning in the note. Though the value of that currency note depends on so many things, but still you have one currency note and you suddenly attribute so much of significance and so much of importance to this, where it does not have any importance. And Gandhi's photo in a photo frame is not so valuable, right? Only when it comes to that currency note, it is so valuable. So that is Vikshepa Shakti. It is giving you something. You see your child and you feel so much attachment, such a severe and intense attachment you feel to the child. Why? Because of attachment, because of sense of ownership. That is, it is my child, this is my child. But there, so there is no permanence, or the child is not going to exist forever, or for that matter even you are not going to exist forever. But that is what the rajoguna does. It creates bondage, it creates attachment. People who are predominantly rajasic in their temperament, where they have got more of rajas in their temperament, what do? They get attached to things. They build an empire, they think this is mine, this is mine, they get attached. That is Vikshepa Shakti. Rajasah kriyatmika, and also it is in the nature of kriyatmika, it is in the nature of activity. A person who has a predominantly rajoguna cannot sit quiet without doing anything. He has to, or she has to constantly do something. Yatah pravritti prasrita purani. So this Purani, or the Purani Prasrita, means the from the beginning of this world. Because of ignorance, this world has come into existence. But after coming into existence, it is because of the interplay of these three gunas that this world exists. And Rajoguna creates lot of gives lot of impetus to perform a particular action. And so this world goes on because of this Purani, a very old or a first prasrita flow of pravritti activity. So this flow of activity is as old as the universe. Some activity has to be there, and this activity is constantly going on. In Gita, it is told that nigraha kim karishyati, prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. Your nature is pulling you to do things. What would restraint do? So this old, in the beginning of the universe, since then this activity is going on. Ragadayoho asyaha prabhavanti. And because of this, what happens? Ragadayoho, different kinds of mental or psychological modifications, such as attachment, raga, dvesha, aversion, etc., etc., lobha, greed, moha, delusion, all these things come to a person. Why? Because of attachment, because of this tendency to act, this tendency to mistake one thing for another. Because of this, all these things keep on coming. And dukkadayoho ye manaso vikaraha. And different vikaras are produced, different problems are produced in mind. What are the problems? Dukkadayoho, grief, etc. Dukkha, all that sadness, sorrow, depression, then illness, everything is produced from the mind because of attachment. Because of attachment. So in the beginning, you don't know somebody. Then you come to know somebody. Then you start talking to that person. It could be in any kind of relationship. You start talking to that person. Then you feel good after talking to that person. You see, it's so simple. You did not even know that person, and you just came to know that person, and you start talking to that person. Then you start feeling good. And then what happens? If you cannot talk to the person, you feel bad. So if you think, say, 6 months before, you did not even know about the existence of such a person. So then what do we say? We immediately blame that person for our sorrow, for our depression, or for our being sad. We say it is because you did not call me, or you did not give me some time, this happened. But it is not so. It is because of your attachment that this thing has happened. If not that person, some other thing you would be attached to. If not that thing, you would be. So, what is the problem today of people? Most of the people, of course, I don't think you belong to that generation. But if you come down a bit in age, then the problem today for young people is Candy Crush. Anybody suffering from Candy Crush problem here? Nobody. Nobody. Candy Crush, no, I thought so. So there is a game by name Candy Crush. You don't belong to that generation. I guessed it. So that Candy Crush invitation, everybody gets. So what is the email which you cannot ignore? No, which you cannot avoid? That is the invitation of Candy Crush. Everyone will send you one Candy Crush invitation. And so if by mistake, if on a fateful day, you by mistake accept that invitation, that's all, then gone. Then rest of your life is only Candy Crush. You will be just playing that. When a person is waiting in the meeting, then they are doing like this. I didn't know this long back. So I was in an important meeting and I was waiting, and some talking is going on and deliberations are going on, and a very important person in his Apple phone is doing like this something. I thought something serious, something. Then I saw this Candy Crush. Everyone is on that. Big company executives and everybody is playing Candy Crush. So I cannot this I have to finish. This level I have to finish. And it goes on and on and on. Before that, you don't even know. You didn't even know that such a game exists. But after you know, you have to, like serials. The famous serial, Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, etc. Or that is just a symbolic name. There are so many serials after that. So you don't know. And serial first half goes in telling what will happen, what happened in the previous episode. And the next half goes in telling what will happen in the next episode. And anything happens 3 times. Somebody slaps also 3 times. It is all 3 times. Okay. So, but then you need to see. Now, without serial, you cannot stay. It is impossible. Your existence is at stake. So, like that. Everything is like that. Why? Because of attachment. So, when there is no attachment, nothing happens. But once attachment is produced, attachment has arisen, and then you feel depressed, you feel sad, you feel miserable because you don't get it. This is the characteristic of Rajaguna, Rajas. Then what is the other characteristics? Kamaha, Krodho, Lobha, Dambadi, Asuyaha, Ahankara, Irsha, Matsaradi, Astu Ghoraha, Dharma ete Rajasaha, Pum Pravrittihi, Yasmadesha Tadrajo, Bandha Hetuhu. Bandha Hetuhu, that is the cause of bondage. What is the cause of bondage? Rajoguna. This guna, Rajoguna, is the cause of bondage. Bandha Hetuhu, Hetuhu cause. And what does it produce? Kamaha, lust. Krodha, anger. Anger and lust. Swamiji says, Swami Vivekananda says, lust is what? It is crystallized. Anger is what? It is crystallized lust. Crystallized lust is anger. So if you have to get rid of anger, what should you do? You should get rid of lust. You should get rid of desires. What causes anger is desire. However much we do anger management and all that, unless you get rid of this desire or attachment, we cannot get rid of anger. So kamaha, krodha, then lobha, greed. Sri Ramakrishna says constantly, Kamini Kanchan Tyag. Give up. Kamini means woman. The word meaning is woman. And Kanchan means gold. Means, but Sri Ramakrishna does not mean that you should not work or you should not marry, etc. What he means, when he used to talk to women, he used to say Purush Kanchan. Purush Kanchan means you have to give up men and gold. That means what he wants to say is you should give up lust and greed. Kama and lobha you have to give up. So this lobha is what? Greed. Most of us have more than what we need, but we want more and more and more because of greed. It is because of greed that we want to earn more, we want to do things more, etc. And lobha is greed. And then damba is what? Damba is arrogance. You become arrogant. If you know something more than other people, if you have something more than other people, or if you think you know somebody, suppose a person, ordinary person, just an ordinary man, maybe has some job and a family, etc. But suppose that person somehow comes to know, comes to have a even a contact with some VIP, say some VIP, that person has some contact, then immediately that person, the whole air about the person changes. Then the person will walk like this because now I know the Prime Minister of India, like that, something. So that is because of arrogance. That is because of arrogance. And asuya, jealousy. Swamiji says, jealousy is the bane of this nation. In India, whatever you do, we have this jealousy. People, we don't need outsiders. So your own people they are sufficient to bring you down. That is our country. Huh? And that spite, asuya, that will create so much problem. So we are jealous. It is okay if we don't have food we don't have much, but the other person should not have. That is the idea. So once God went to a village, a person was meditating and God appeared before him. And then he was having this so much, he was jealous with everybody. So he said, God came. Then he asked, what do you want? Then before he was going to ask, he said, whatever you want, whatever you will ask, your neighbors and villagers, they will get double. So whatever you ask, they will get double. So immediately this fellow thought for a while. He said, okay, I want to be blind in one eye. So that is so that is how we are. Asuya, we have this jealousy. And ahankara, that egoism, that it is mine, I have done this, I have done. Even if people boil water, they say, I boiled water. There's so much great work I have done. And Irsha. And same thing has been told, envy, Matsara, that you will not allow other people to come up, jealousy, etc. They are ghoraha. They are very dangerous and terrible. They are terrible qualities or characteristics, dharma, characteristics of Rajasaha, of people who have the quality of Rajoguna. And Pum Pravrittihi. And from this, Yasmadesha, this Pum Pravriti means the nature or the tendency, worldly tendency of a person is produced by this. So a person becomes more worldly, more attached, more immersed in worldliness and attachment because of all these kinds of characteristics: kama, lust, anger, then greed, arrogance, jealousy, egoism, etc. And so Shankaracharya says, Esha tad rajah bandha hetuhu. Yasmadesha tad rajo bandha hetuhu. Therefore, Pum pravritti yasmat, from which this pravritti or the worldly bondage of people comes, Esha tad rajo bandha hetuhu. This Rajaha is the hetu of bandha, the cause of bondage. Shankaracharya tells this here, and Arjuna asks a question from in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna asks that अथक्केन प्रयुक्तोयम पापम चरति पुरुषः अनिच्छन्नपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजयति. That I have heard all whatever you have told. You gave me so much of gyan. I have heard all that. But kena prayuktoyam papam purushah papam charati. By, propelled by what? Or by what inspiration or motivation do people commit wrong deeds? Papam, wrong deeds. Anichannapi varshneya. Oh, the descendant of the clan of Vrishni Vamsha, Varshneya, even if one does not want to, Anichanapi, Baladivasa Niyojayati. It is as though somebody is forcefully pulling you to do this. Then Sri Krishna gives the answer. Kamayesha Krodayesha Rajoguna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyenam Iha Vairinam. So there he says, Rajoguna Samudbhava. These two qualities are born out of Rajoguna, the quality of Rajas. What are they? Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. Means this same quality, one quality. It is Esha is in singular. One quality is being told. Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. This anger and this lust. They are not being told like anger and lust, two things. That means anger and lust are same. Anger and lust are same. And they come out of Rajoguna Samudbhava. Mahashano Mahapapma. And they have great hunger. Maha Ashana. Great hunger. So if you give some people, whatever you give, they will eat. They have got so much of capacity. Mahashano Mahapapma. And it will lead to great mistake. Vidyenam Iha Vairinam. You beware of this, because this is Vairina. This is your Vairi, means your enemy. You beware of this enemy. What? Kama and Krodha. Of course, one thing you have to be very careful about Sanskrit is that you have to know how to pronounce. So once Bhuteshananda Ji Maharaj asked somebody to chant or recite this Gita, and that person was reciting Gita. So, in West Bengal, the pronunciation tends to be little different. So that person was chanting Gita. He said, Kama Esho, Krodha Esho. Huh. So then Muteshanji told, no, no, no. So the whole thing, then come Kama, come Krodha, all these things will happen. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.